This how-to is sponsored by Get FPV. A few weeks ago, I introduced you guys to this beast of a QAV500 build with these 13-inch T-motor Beechwood props. And what I had promised to do, and I'm still going to do, is walk you through the Pixhawk setup, configuration, basically everything I'd normally do to get my multi-rotor to be an autonomous UAV. But before I rip the NAZA out of the QAV500, I want to show a configuration that several of you have asked about, so no better time to do it than now. And I'm going to demonstrate 3 flight modes: Course Lock and Home Lock on this switch, Failsafe, as well as a loss of signal Failsafe that's configured at the receiver level, which in this case will be the X8R. And I've done several videos that show how to set up all these switches. In this case, I'm going to demonstrate how they work, and we're going to try something new. I'm going to make the model profile available for download so that you guys can download it, install it, and give it a test. Before I demonstrate this configuration, I always recommend removing props, and I actually want to show how these Beechwood props are removed. They're pretty awesome. So you can see that it says for me to rotate counterclockwise to remove it, so I'll just put a little pressure. See, that guy comes undone. And you'll notice that has a black nut that matches this black post, and then on the opposite arm you'll notice this silver nut. It makes it super easy for you to know which prop goes where. And I've mentioned this in previous videos, but let me reiterate, you have the SBUS connection right here. So just your one cable coming out of this, and it will go to your X2 port on the NAZA, and that will enable all of your channels. And let me just add a side note. This is a X8R antenna mast from Thingiverse user Carbo, that's CARBO. I'll put a link below. This thing is really handy. It allows you to get a 90-degree angle for each antenna that comes out of this receiver. I have the QAV500 powered up. So let's start off by taking a look at our flight modes. I'll switch to basic. You can see by default we're in GPS mode. I'll toggle. Now we're in attitude mode, and then manual. So I'll toggle back. Now let's look at our failsafe override. So if I'm on attitude mode or manual, and then I switch to failsafe, you can see that regardless of what flight mode I'm in, it's going to stay on failsafe. If I toggle out, we're back into GPS mode, or I can be in failsafe and in attitude mode, and when I toggle out, I'm back at attitude mode. And that's really my preferred way of having it set up. These are my flight modes. Any point in time I can override those flight modes with this fail-safe switch in the back. Okay, and at the same time, let's go ahead and look at our IOC settings. And so on the right side of my Taranis, I have this switch by default all the way back. IOC is turned off. In the middle position, I'm at Course Lock, and then all the way up, I'm in Home Lock mode. And so this configuration gives me 3 flight modes, fail-safe, and my IOC over here. Now, I'll be honest, I've never actually flown in Course Lock or Home Lock, never really had the need for it, and I wanted to demonstrate how to have that configured in conjunction with your flight modes. Let me demonstrate what that looks like on your actual Taranis. So I'm going to go to page 6, and if you're not familiar with SBUS, by default, these first 4 channels are going to be your AETR, and then we're going to go down to channel 6, and you can see channel 6, which is our SG switch, the top right one. By default, it doesn't do anything. Then if I toggle into the middle, I'm in Course Lock. Then all the way up, I'm in Home Lock. So that's channel 6, which corresponds to your X2 port on your NAZA. Now let's look at channel 7. This is our SE switch, which is the top left. By default, we're in GPS. Middle, we're in attitude, and all the way up, manual. And in addition to that, the SF switch, which you can see right here, the big switch behind your flight mode switch, is when I can toggle into failsafe. Now, I've done plenty of videos showing how to set this up, so I'm not going to do that. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I'm going to share this profile, so hopefully you guys can use it. The key is your offset here. So each one of these flight modes has a different offset, and I'll appreciate your feedback just to know if my offsets work for you. There might be a chance that they don't just because of different Taranis calibration settings, but You can always go in here and tweak these as necessary. Now let's set up failsafe at the receiver level, the loss of signal failsafe. So what I'm going to do is put my throttle at where I'd want to be, just in case we come out of failsafe. So I'll put that roughly at 50%, maybe a little bit above. I'm going to leave my flight mode in GPS mode. The key here for failsafe, we actually want it to return to home and land. I will turn on my failsafe switch that we configured. Now what you'll see is that the NAZA LED is blinking, letting us know it's in failsafe mode. The next thing we want to do is configure our failsafe at the receiver level. The great thing about this 3D printed antenna mast from Carbo is that it leaves the failsafe button exposed. So I'll go ahead and click that. The green LED blinked twice. That tells us that failsafe has been configured. So now I'll bring my throttle back down, toggle out of failsafe. You'll see the NAZA LED go back to its standard sequence. Now let's just do a quick bench test. I'll cut power on the transmitter. And now you can see that we've gone back into failsafe mode. Let me just power back up. We're no longer in failsafe mode. Now, unfortunately, it's quite a bit windy and cold outside. I'm unable to fly today, but I do want to demonstrate that in GPS attitude mode, you'll notice that, as typical for NAZA, there's no throttle being applied until I'm at 50%. So there we go. Now what I'll do next is I'll toggle into manual mode, which is all the way up. And the difference here now, as you can see, the LED is no longer blinking, and I have full range starting from 0 all the way up to 100. And if I toggle back into GPS mode, you'll see our LED light up again. Now, even though it's a little too windy to fly outside, I definitely have to give it a try indoors. So let's see how it does. Wow. Thing is super stable. Now that's the last time we're going to see this guy in the air with NAZA. We'll be moving to Pixhawk soon. Definitely plan on sharing that setup. I'll put a link below to the model profile so you guys can download it. Definitely give me your feedback on that. And thank you to GetFPV for sponsoring this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And until next time, thanks for watching.